What's going on, guys? Welcome in to Clutch Speedball TV. I hope you guys are doing well. And today, I'm going to be talking about Killian Hayes. In my opinion, he was one of the most intriguing prospects out of the 2020 NBA draft. Of course, you could say he still is one of the most intriguing prospects. He was taken 7th overall in the lottery by the Detroit Pistons. And he's someone who I really wanted the Knicks to draft, but it really looked like they were locked in on Obi Toppin because we know all the rumors, how they wanted to trade up and get him. But he was there at number 8, and the Knicks went on to draft him. But anyway, we're talking about Killian Hayes from Florida, but he did play in Germany, and he also played in France as well. And he's one of these players that had just such high upside, a lot of potential to score the basketball. He had nice step back moves in his arsenal, has a nice Euro step, and he had a really good fluidity. I think that's the right word when it comes to Killian Hayes' game. And he's someone that wasn't going to be taken to make an impact right away. Someone that was going to make an impact down the road and hopefully be one of the best offensive guards in the NBA. Kind of like a D'Angelo Russell. That was one of the top comparisons Killian Hayes was getting. But one of the downsides of Killian Hayes, yes, he was taken for this high upside, but how would he be if they just threw him in the fire of the Detroit Pistons, which they have done? And my mindset for that, like whatever team he was going to, I was like, they're going to have to need patience. They need patience when it comes to this kid because he's not going to make an impact right away. You take a look at the competition he played compared to a guy like Theo Maledon. He did not play the highest of level of competition as Theo Maledon played in this league Tony Parker owns. He had the mentor for Tony Parker. Tony Parker didn't play on his team, but he learned a lot from Tony Parker, and he gave him a lot of advice. And he was more of a consistent starter, while Killian Hayes was this guy that was less polished. No one really knew if he had this great right hand, or that was the big question mark. Does he have a good right hand? He's very left hand dominant. Yes, he has this great fluidity to his game, but he doesn't have the greatest of athleticism to really blow by guys. Yes, he has these moves in his arsenal, but those were definitely big question marks. But we've seen the potential of guarding outside the perimeter, having really good passes, pinpoint passes, off balance, absolutely insane. So when the Pistons went on to draft him, I was like, okay, very good talent. He's going to definitely need some work. He's not polished when it comes to his game compared to a guy like Theo Maledon. Maledon's making a bigger impact right now, but down the road, Killian Hayes may be a better basketball player. Definitely has more fundamentals, a guy like Theo Maledon, who currently plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And of course, they drafted a guy like Alexis Pokusevski, and they're really moving in that direction of young players. But yeah, so far, Killian Hayes has just been abysmal. He's been shooting like 30% from the field or 20% from the field. He's averaging 5 points and 22 minutes, I believe he's starting. But it's weird. They're starting him but holding him accountable. And I really don't think that was the right move. In my opinion, they should have started him off the bench. He was starting in preseason, starting in the regular season. Right now, he is out with a hip injury that he did, of course, suffer against the Milwaukee Bucks. And he was actually having a pretty solid game. He had 7 points and 2 assists in that basketball game. But so far, what I've seen is not a mature style of play. The Pistons have a guy like Derrick Rose. I thought Derrick Rose would have been the perfect guy to learn from. I'm sure he is still learning from a guy like Derrick Rose. But right now, Derrick Rose is a better basketball player. I get it. They want Killian Hayes to gain that experience, but he wasn't playing the highest level of competition overseas. So what makes you think he's going to be ready for the NBA right away? And Pistons fans really need patience. You see the flashes of brilliance, of passing the basketball, his basketball IQ, his ability to see things before they happen. But he's been turning over the ball like crazy, missing open shots. A lot of his shots have been short. Doesn't have the fastest of a release. You see some of the just craftiness around the basket, and you see flashes of his handle. But it definitely needs to get better. It's not on a string yet. Has the potential to be on a string. It all comes down to how hard is he going to work. But he does have a good head on his shoulders. But does he have the right coach of a Dwayne Casey? I really did not like the way Dwayne Casey coached up Suku Demboya from France, another really high upside guy who may be something big down the road. Just having him sit in the corner, Demboya, I did not like the way he used him whatsoever. Of course, former coach of the Toronto Raptors, Dwayne Casey. And I was like, how's Dwayne Casey with these raw prospects? He's used to coaching a guy like a DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry. When he was coaching them, those were not raw prospects whatsoever. They were pretty much developed into their own and good basketball players. But Killian Hayes, his jump shot's falling short. He's not finishing that great around the basket. Needs to go up stronger. And it seems like he's looks too comfortable out there in the way that it's not good. And how he's trying to make these one-handed passes, and he has to realize I'm sure he's aware, but watching him play, it looks like that he still thinks that he's overseas and he's able to make these passes that you just shouldn't be able to make anymore. But I had these questions written down, and like, what was the Pistons' mindset when they drafted him? Like, did he play high level competition in Germany and France? Yes, of course, he had those like under certain age like championship games. I believe it's under 18 championship games or something like that. And guys like Frank Ntilikina also attended. Like, did he play high level competition? No, he did not play the highest of level competition when it came to like his main league. Teo Maledon actually played higher level competition. Yes, Killian Hayes may be more talented, but Teo Maledon's definitely like more polished right now, and Killian Hayes may be better in the future. But right now, Teo Maledon, in my opinion, is a better basketball player. And did they take him to make an impact right away? That's the main mindset. The Pistons, when they drafted him, were they like, is this guy a franchise point guard? Is he going to be our franchise point guard right out the gate? And that's the main thing. If they really took him thinking he was going to make an impact right away, that's just a mistake. Like, Derrick Rose should be starting above him. Like, he needs to see the game from a totally different view, like from the bench, from the start, like how Derrick Rose controls the game with a certain pace. And I'm sure he's watched plenty of film, but simply Killian Hayes has not been ready for the NBA. He has a lot to work on. I think he's really underrated defensively, and his playmaking is good, but he hasn't been aggressive enough. I don't know if that's him not being comfortable, but I really wonder what the Pistons saw in him. Like, oh yeah, he's going to be our starter right away. But does it come down to Dwayne Casey? Is it the coaching? Is it Killian Hayes himself? I think it's a little bit of both. I don't really think they're playing Killian Hayes throughout his strengths. They're not setting him up for open shots, but he's the point guard. He's the one orchestrating the offense. You know, I'm not a big Dwayne Casey guy when it comes to coaching the Pistons because of this certain personnel. He did do good with the Raptors because they had NBA ready like personnel. So this is definitely a different challenge when it comes to a guy like Dwayne Casey. But also, like I said, did they take him to make an impact right away? In my opinion, like, if I was the Knicks, I wanted to take him. Again, the Knicks, of course, have this history of rushing players or not playing players throughout their strengths and not developing players. But what I would have done is let this guy learn, and eventually he'll be good down the road for sure. He's a guy that you can't play right away. And did they rush him to start? Like I said, did they think he was going to make an impact right away starting? And yeah, his shot's been falling short. The one thing that I've been really impressed with is his floater. He can get shots over defenders very easily when it comes to his floater. Like I said, he's good fluidity, he plays with a good pace. But when it comes to just like sometimes he makes passes look too effortless in a way that it's like he doesn't care type of passes. His defense has been solid, but there's just some open shots he's just not making at the end of the day, and that's kind of scary. But I'm going to say this right now, Knicks fans. If we started this man and he went on to start, Knicks fans would be saying this is Frank Ntilikina 2.0. But I'm going to say right now, Pistons fans, this guy was not taken to make an impact right away. I don't know if the Pistons are just mistreating him or misusing him or what, but this guy was taken to be a high upside offensively when it comes to the point guard position. He's a guy that could probably be a combo guard. I would really like to see how he could be off the ball, but I would start him off as a point guard. Again, they had to be patient with this guy. We'll see what happens. Hope the Pistons organization is patient with him. Got to give him time, but again, he was not taken to make an impact right away like an older player in this draft, like a Sadiq Bey, like the Pistons drafted, to give an example of another player on the team. He is polished. He knows what he's good at. Killian Hayes is taken for what he was taken for what he can be down the road. But yeah, all I could say is be patient. Yes, his stats look absolutely atrocious, averaging like 4 or 5 points in 23 minutes. They're starting him, but they don't like play him a lot of minutes because I guess they're holding him accountable at the same time. And especially when you have a guy like Derrick Rose coming off the bench, it is different. But I would have had Derrick Rose start, wait till his contract's up, or trade him, and then go on to start Killian Hayes and hopefully learn. But at the end of the day, it's really hard when it comes to the development of point guards because, yes, they can watch the game all they want, but if they're not actually in the live action, then it's really hard when you're not in the live action. But you can watch all the film you want, but if you're not in it, you really don't, you're just going to have different reactions when it comes to the speed of the game. You think it looks slower on film when it's in realism. When you're in the game, it's much faster, of course, the NBA pace. But yes, he's a lot to adjust to, but let me know down below your thoughts and analysis. And as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.